So in our last part, we want to look at the Central Bank of Nigeria that has disclosed that it will be allocating about $10,000 to each bureau de change operator at 1,251 naira to a dollar. And this was contained in a circular signed by the bank's Director, Trade and Exchange Department, Dr. Hassan Mahmood, on Monday. Now, the Apex Bank directed each BDC to sell the dollars to eligible customers at a rate not exceeding 1.5% above the purchase price, implying the BDCs are not expected to sell above 1,269 naira to a dollar. And right now, Muktar Mohammed, CEO, Asheer Investment, joins me even as we delve into this particular discussion. Thank you so much, Mr. Muktar, for joining us.
My pleasure, Lekan. Good morning.
So can we say now that the free float of the naira has been paused with this new policy direction?
I don't understand what you're saying. The free flow of the naira have been fought by this action. I don't think so. No central bank in the world would allow its currency to just float without intervention. Now, this is not managing. This is intervention in the area of liquidity, and this is what we've been talking about for a while. You don't just allow your currency to maintain that kind of gap when you think there's issues to intervene. You intervene, and that's what the CBN is doing. Even if you say, why is he not intervening through the banking? Why is he intervening to an entity that he has bound? That's a topic for another day. But again, I think the intervention is necessary, especially when your currency is grossly undervalued. You must have confidence in your currency. It's just like if you have a share in a company and the company feels that the shares of that company is not doing well, then, it's not being priced well by the investors. The company in turn comes in there and buy those shares back, even at a higher price, to say we have confidence in this company. So that's the same thing I think is happening in this space. The CBN is saying, look, our naira is grossly undervalued, and we think this should be the right pricing of the naira at this time. So we intervene to bring it to the right price. It's different from managing it. It's intervention. For me, I don't think there's any issue with that.
So now, in mitigating the impact of its several policies on the naira, we see the Central Bank of Nigeria telling the BDCs to sell to eligible end users at a spread of a price of not more than 1.5% above the purchase price. So can this be enforced? Because that's a question a lot of people are asking. And how would they even know that the BDCs are transparent and complying with this directive?
I can't but agree with you. I think I'm among those school of thought that think, how can this be enforced? If you have about 1,300 and something bureau de change, we don't know how many of them are now, they are going to give these effects. We have a 1,300 and something bureau de change that I think 1,371 bureau de change that they say are eligible to receive effects. So how do you manage those bureau de change? And if you are finding it difficult, because the reason they give why they are not using the banking, financial sector, the banks especially, was because of monitoring. So if you cannot monitor about 30 banks, how can you monitor about 1,370 bureau de change? So I have a challenge with it. But again, they've said that their monitoring will come with, I think they said it will come through technology. Some of this cash that they are going to give to this bureau de change are not going to be given to them in cash. They are going to give them electronically. And anybody that is going to buy those dollars will also have these dollars transferred by the bureau de change to their own domiciliary account. So the bureau de change are only allowed to give a minimum. If you are collecting $2,000, they are supposed to give you like $500. If you are collecting $4,000, and when you are traveling, they're supposed to give you $500, and the remaining $3,500 should be put on your domiciliary account card. So what I don't know is whether the CBN has, the bureau de change have those tools to effect this technological implementation that the central bank wants from them. That's, for me, is my greatest challenge. But I think they can be monitored, like you said, with technology.
Okay. Now, we also see that Apex Bank announced its decision to sell foreign exchange worth about $20,000 to each eligible BDC operator across the country in February. And now about $10,000 has been sold to the BDCs. So can this sort of supply effectively take care of the demands for dollars?
Well, Lekan, you must also look at it that they call it the end user. Those that want high FX inflow, outflow, or need FX above maybe 10,000, 5,000, I mean, above 10,000, we'll have to source for that through the autonomous foreign exchange market. The bureau de change are meant to take care of the retail end, which are normally should not be more than 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. That's why the bureau de change were established, not for them to take care of 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, even going as far as 300,000. No, that was not what the bureau de change were established for. It's to meet end user. Now, without crystal stability, the challenge we have seen in the FX market up till now has to do with demand and supply. Now, supply in terms of that, the number of people demand for those smaller retail supply has superseded those demanding in the autonomous foreign exchange market. So that's why we saw that the parallel market was just opening up more than the autonomous foreign exchange market. So now with this, you could see a balance because that means liquidity have been injected into the system. The Nigerian FX system is suffering because we've not been able to inject liquidity into the system. So this will go a far way, far in trying to bring that liquidity. And once that liquidity comes, if it can be continually enhanced, whereby the market, the CBN will intervene, not always, not all the time, but sometimes when they think the Naira has been inadequately priced, then we'll now finally get to that stability whereby CBN will not need to intervene. Market forces will determine the real value, and that value that market forces determine is the real instrument value of the Naira.
Okay, so let's switch from that and quickly touch on the issue around the adoption of sustainability financial reporting standards by Nigeria and how that can help boost the Nigerian economy. Now, the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria unveiled a roadmap for adopting sustainability financial reporting standards, marking Nigeria as the first African country to do so. Now, the CEO of FRCN, that's Rabi Olowo, highlighted this milestone as Nigeria's third step towards implementing the standards, and he emphasized that its significance is aimed at attracting foreign direct investment and fostering economic growth. So quickly, how would you rate this action? Would you say it is timely? And would you say that the implementation is apt and will be able to help Nigeria achieve its desired goal?
Hey, Lekan, I sent it to your guest before going, was talking about if you will be able to implement some of the things that we've reported. And so that is for me also is a challenge that I'll see with this. How implementable is this? How can they implement it? And how many business are they going to use in implementing it? And you see, when the government start looking for a particular product, it seems to become an all-common whether to get impact on the president, tell the president, oh, you're also helping his dream. That's why they are now saying, oh, we are doing this because we want to attract foreign investors. Foreign investors started coming, and they are coming because of the bond that the DMO is offering. Just today, the DMO has made us understand that they are offering a bond to foreign investors at 22%. And that is what we've always been saying, that we needed all of these things to come in place and then make sure that they get some of these things on ground. So I think it's a good one. We attract foreign investors. It will bring confidence in your financial system because it's a global way of reporting. So it is a good thing, especially if you are going to attract foreign direct investors, those that want to come and decide. They want to come because there is rule of law and there's intellectual property protection. I think it's a good one if we are able to implement it, because Nigeria is not devoid of documents and many challenges being how to implement what we have already agreed on.
So do you think this could be pivotal for the African continent, looking at other countries that might want to adopt this particular strategy?
Yes, it will, especially if those countries begin to see that most of the investment that they are thinking will come to their country begin to come to Nigeria, and talking to these investors, they say we are going there because they have a more better financial reporting council standard. So that also will help them want to build it up. And in the long run, they are building an African economy that will attract more investors. So I totally agree with that. And you know, Nigeria is always the big brother, the first in almost everything. And then other nations can take it from there. And sometimes they tend to achieve more results than even us, maybe because of their population. But
Wow.
I think it's a good thing that we have finally adopted that. It will bring investors into our country. It will make people believe in our country, especially our financial institution. When they report, this is what they report, because that is the modality, international best practice. They will be accepted even in their own places and even in Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you so much, Muktar Mohammed, CEO, Asheer Dynamic Investment. It was nice talking to you.